Murder Weekly now has merch. Find shirts, mugs, and more with the Murder Weekly logo for sale at our merch store. There's free shipping and 10% off now with the coupon NEWMERCH10. Did we mention there's free shipping? Check out all the goods at calaroga.com, that's CALOROGA.com, or just look for the link in the show notes. Thanks for supporting the show. We really appreciate it.
Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Murder Weekly. This episode is titled The Convention Conspiracy Part 4, Election Day Reckoning.
The dawn of Election Day broke over Chicago, painting the sky in hues of fiery orange and deep purple. For most of the city's residents, it was a day of civic duty and potential change. For Detectives Sarah Chen and Marcus Holloway, it was 0 hour. They sat in Sarah's cramped apartment surrounded by laptops, printouts, and empty coffee cups. The detritus of a sleepless night spent combing through the data on Hawthorne's flash drive. What they'd found had left them both shaken to the core. "It's worse than we thought," Marcus said, his voice hoarse from hours of discussion. "The level of coordination, the reach of this conspiracy, it's not just about swinging a few key districts. They're reshaping the entire political landscape." Sarah nodded grimly. "And it goes beyond party lines. Democrats, Republicans, even third-party candidates, they're all just puppets. The real power lies with this shadow network of corporations, foreign interests, and political fixers." The flash drive had contained a treasure trove of incriminating emails, financial records, and most damning of all, the source code for the backdoor in the voting machines. It was the smoking gun they needed, but getting it into the right hands would be easier said than done. "We can't trust the feds," Marcus said, voicing what they both knew, "not after they shut down our investigation. For all we know, they're in on it too." Sarah's phone buzzed. Another message from their mysterious tormentor. "Tick-tock, detectives. The polls are open. Will you be players or pawns? PM." Sarah's jaw clenched. "We end this today," she said, a fire in her eyes. "One way or another." Their first stop was the offices of the Chicago Tribune. Megan Fry, the journalist they'd met earlier, was waiting for them in the parking garage, her face a mask of nervous anticipation. "You said you had something big," she said as they approached. "This better be worth the risk." Sarah handed her a copy of the flash drive. "It's all here, everything you need to blow this conspiracy wide open, but you need to move fast. We don't know how long we can stay ahead of them." Megan's eyes widened as she skimmed through the files on her laptop. My God, this is Pulitzer material. Pulitzer hell, this is history-making." "Get it out there," Marcus urged. "Every channel, every platform, they can't silence everyone." As Megan rushed off to rally her newsroom, Sarah and Marcus headed for their next target, the city's election commission. They had a plan to force a manual recount using their police credentials to raise the alarm about potential voting irregularities. But as they pulled up to the commission's offices, they knew something was wrong. The parking lot was filled with black SUVs, and men in suits were swarming the entrance. "Federal agents," Marcus growled. "They're locking it down." Sarah's mind raced. They needed a new plan, and fast. That's when she spotted a familiar face in the crowd, Lisa Emerson, Michael Reeves' girlfriend. "Lisa," Sarah called out, approaching cautiously. "What are you doing here?" Lisa's eyes were wide with fear, but there was a determination in her stance. "I couldn't stay in hiding," she said. "Not today. Michael, he left something with me. A failsafe. He said if anything happened to him, I should use it on Election Day." Sarah's heart pounded. "What kind of failsafe?" Before Lisa could answer, shots rang out. Sarah tackled Lisa to the ground as Marcus drew his weapon, scanning for the threat. "There!" he shouted, pointing to a figure on a nearby rooftop. What followed was a chaotic chase through the streets of Chicago. Sarah and Marcus, with Lisa in tow, weaved through Election Day traffic, narrowly avoiding the bullets of their unseen assailant. They finally lost their pursuer in the crowded aisles of a bustling polling place. Catching their breath in a quiet corner, Lisa pulled out a small device. "It's a transmitter," she explained. "Michael said it would activate some kind of hidden protocol in the voting machines, a way to override the back door and force them to report accurate results." Sarah and Marcus exchanged a look. This could be the key to exposing the entire conspiracy, but it could also be a trap. "We need to get to a secure location," Marcus said, "somewhere we can activate this thing safely." Their opportunity came in the form of a breaking news alert on a nearby TV. Megan Fry's story had hit, and it was spreading like wildfire. Footage of protests erupting outside polling stations flashed across the screen. In the ensuing chaos, they managed to slip into the main election commission control room. Technicians and officials were scrambling to respond to the allegations of fraud, barely noticing the three newcomers. "It's now or never," Sarah said, nodding to Lisa. With trembling hands, Lisa activated the transmitter. For a moment, nothing happened. Then one by one, the screens around the room began to flicker. Vote tallies shifted, districts flipped, and the entire electoral map began to transform. "It's working," Marcus breathed. "The real results are coming through." But their victory was short-lived. The door burst open and a figure strode in, flanked by armed guards. Sarah's blood ran cold as she recognized him. Richard Keller, the head of convention security they'd met at the beginning of this case. "I'm impressed, detectives," Keller said, his voice cold. "You've played the game well, but did you really think we wouldn't have a contingency for this?" He pulled out a device of his own, a dead man's switch. "One press of this button, and every voting machine in the country fries. We'll blame it on a foreign cyber attack, declare the results null and void. Chaos will reign, and in the aftermath, we'll reshape the political landscape as we see fit." Sarah's mind raced, searching for a way out. That's when she noticed something, a subtle tremor in Keller's hand, a bead of sweat on his brow. He was bluffing. "You're the puppet master," she said, realization dawning. "The one pulling all the strings, but your show's over, Keller. Look around you." Keller turned to see the screens, still displaying the true election results. Outside, the sound of sirens grew closer. "Your conspiracy is exposed," Marcus added. "It's not just us anymore. The whole world is watching." For a moment, Keller's composure cracked. Then, with a snarl of frustration, he lunged for Lisa and the transmitter. What followed was a desperate struggle. Sarah and Marcus fought to subdue Keller and his men, while Lisa protected the transmitter. In the chaos, Keller's device skittered across the floor, right to the feet of a newcomer. "Looking for this?" came a familiar voice. They all turned to see James Hawthorne, the campaign manager they'd interviewed earlier. He held Keller's device, his finger hovering over the button. "Hawthorne," Keller growled. "You traitor!" Hawthorne shook his head. "No, Richard. I'm done being a traitor to my country. This ends now." With that, he crushed the device under his foot. In the days that followed, the nation watched in stunned disbelief as the full extent of the conspiracy unraveled on national television. The Puppet Masters network crumbled, with arrests made at the highest levels of government, corporations, and even foreign entities. The voting machine backdoor was exposed and closed, ensuring the integrity of the upcoming election. Senator Rossi, fully recovered from the assassination attempt, spearheaded emergency legislation to overhaul election security. Chen and Holloway were hailed as heroes, their unwavering pursuit of the truth lauded as a testament to the power of determined individuals in the face of systemic corruption. As the dust settled, Chen found herself standing before a panel of journalists, recounting the incredible journey that had led to this moment. But even as she spoke, a nagging doubt gnawed at the back of her mind. It wasn't until later that evening, as she was packing up her desk, a promotion to captain her reward for cracking the case, that she found it. A small, unmarked envelope that certainly hadn't been there that morning. With trembling hands, she opened it to find a single playing card inside, the Jack of Spades. On its face, written in an eerily familiar hand, was a message that made her blood run cold. Every puppet master has a master of their own. The game is far from over. M. Chen's mind raced. M? Could it be Michael Reeves? But he was dead, wasn't he? And if not, what did that mean for everything they thought they'd uncovered? As she stared at the card, Chen realized with a mix of dread and exhilaration that their journey wasn't over. It was just beginning. Someone else was pulling the strings, and the true puppet master was still out there. The election was secure for now, but a larger, more insidious threat loomed on the horizon, and once again it would fall to Chen and Holloway to unravel the mystery before it was too late. Chen slipped the card into her pocket, her resolve hardening. Whatever came next, she would be ready. The game was still on, and the stakes had never been higher.
Murder Weekly is a Calaroga Shark media production, written and hosted by Aidan I. Flanagan, produced by Mark Francis, executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Portions of this podcast may have been created with the assistance of AI.
This show, along with hundreds of others from Calaroga Shark Media, is available commercial-free on any player, hassle-free. Just look for the link in the episode or show notes.
Calaroga Shark Media.